So we have explained the scope of the meditation. Now we are talking about the basis we need to understand meditation and the causes or conditions that enable us to enter deeply into meditation. Now we have explained that the Shamatha meditation in the northern tradition is explained by so-called 9 abidings in Shamatha. They are, you can call them also 9 dwellings. Literally, in Sanskrit, they are called chitta sthiti, which means, in a way, the dwellings in the mind. This is very important to understand. However well we translate some of these technical terms, they will not be quite the same like the original. We have explained that the first and the crucial step in Shamatha is called in Sanskrit stapayati. They translate in your book as application. But this may not be the best term. It does not really explain. I like better the Chinese translation, which says Neiju, dwelling inside. So, last time we have finished here. It is very important to understand when we practice meditation, especially with the understanding given in the scriptures of Mahayana teachers. So we have to understand that we learn meditation means we learn understanding that all objects of meditation are mental objects. This will enable us finally to understand that in fact not only all objects of meditation, but all objects, without exceptions, are mental objects. This is the most powerful, skillful means for understanding meditation and understanding ourselves and understanding the nature of our experience. The answer to our problems we have to find inside. We cannot find outside. Now, all of us who study Buddhism should know that Buddha systematically avoided all metaphysical explanations. The real Buddhist practice is very practical. That's why I explained to you the first most important principle to understand Buddhism is that all of our experience is based on touch. If there is no touch, there is nothing we can experience. And we have explained that all we touch through the 6 senses. That we have specially emphasized. Now, the six senses means the five senses which connect us with the outer world, and the mind, which is also the sense, and it is the base of all the senses. The eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, sensitivity have no function without the mind. So eye without the mind does not see anything. It's completely useless. It's just a ball of flesh. The same for all the other organs. Also, the body without the mind, when the mind leaves the body, the warmth, the prana, the life faculty, as it is called in Buddhism, leaves the body, and the body becomes just a completely useless object. It's only good to be burned or to be buried. So, as the Western religion says, from earth we come, to earth we return. So, what matters is the mind, and mind is what gives life to the body and to the senses. So, learning meditation, we first learn that all the objects of meditation, and in Buddhism we learn two types of meditation, Shamatha and Vipassana. All objects of Shamatha and Vipassana are mental objects. When we have learned it through practicing, then eventually we learn that not only all objects of meditation, all objects without exception are mental objects. Now the commentaries of Abhidharma sometimes, especially of the Pali Abhidhamma, which has preserved this tradition especially well, give some very, very illustrative examples to understand that all our experience is based in mind. You will find in the commentaries the example of a drum and 5 black stones. This is how we should contemplate. These 5 black stones, they are our senses, our eye, our nose, our tongue, our ear, our body. These are like the 5 black stones. Now, these black stones, they are placed on the surface of a drum. Drum, ku. Now, when we touch the drum, then the stones will be activated. When one stone jumps, all the other stones will also jump. Now, what is the nature of our normal experience? Experience with a monkey mind. It is compared in the Abhidhamma as automatically when one stone jumps, the other stone jumps, and the mind will go to that stone which has jumped the highest. Now you are hearing my speech, so in the meantime there is some airplane. So airplane sound, so the mind will go to the airplane sound because it is more powerful than the sound of my speech. Now if in between you have a pain in your knee and it is more powerful than the impact of my speech or of the airplane sound, then your mind will go to the knee. Now, if the pain is transmitted from the knee to the shoulder, it will go to the shoulder. Monkey, very wonderful animal to teach us good lessons. Please observe the monkeys. In ancient India, the yogis, they learned most of the rules of nature by observing the animals, insects, plants. Actually, everything in the nature is a manifestation of some energy or mind. Energy and mind, they have in a way a common ground. Now you are interested in the tantric tradition. This is especially deeply analyzed in that tradition and in Chinese Taoism. Not now, after 3 days. This is second day. So, this energy does not belong to anyone. We learn finally also that this mind does not belong to anyone. And the mind cannot function without energy. Mind cannot function without prana, without chi. But we obstinately believe that this energy, this mind belongs to us. It is something we possess. Rather than we are formed by it, we believe we possess it. Because we believe we possess it, we create all kinds of disharmony. And this disharmony is reflected in our body and in our mind. And the body and the mind is what we are. So, what we are depends on the mind. The karma depends on the mind. If there is no mind, there is no karma. And if there is no karma, we do not hear anything, we do not see anything, we do not touch anything. We do not think anything. Because there is a cause and there is effect. And this is the law of nature. This is the law of mind. So we learn meditation to understand eventually that without mind there cannot be object, and without object there cannot be a worldly mind. And the worldly mind is precisely the cause and effect. Now we are learning meditation to understand the mind. When we understand the mind, we can understand ourselves, we can understand what we experience. When we don't understand our mind, we will not be able to understand ourselves and what we experience. Impossible. This is what the Buddha has always emphasized. So he continues the old Indian tradition, which is based on the search for the true self. And he called this true self the non-self. When we know the non-self, we know Buddhism. When we know Buddhism, we know the mind. So, for this reason, the teachers of Mahayana, they very emphatically teach that all meditation objects and eventually all objects are mental objects, because the five senses are based in the mind. Now, when we practice the Shamatha meditation, the meditation of appeasement, the Mahayana teachers call the object we use for Shamatha meditation, they call it non-differentiated image, because only the mind sees images. The eye only sees the color, the ear only hears the sound. All these colors that we can see and forms that we can see are minutely analyzed, like in Abhidhammakosha. The tongue can only directly perceive the taste, and the body can only directly perceive the qualities of the four elements, nothing more. But it is a mind which creates the image of these impressions. This image has a technical term and it implies many, many things. That is why it's so difficult to translate the Buddhist technical language into any other language. This image of the mind is called nimitta, double T. In Chinese they translate it as xiang, with tree and the eye. Chinese, very wonderful language. When you put the heart below it, you have the perception. Now our perception is based on this sign that we directly perceive through the senses. Now when we practice the Shamatha meditation, this sign or image is non-differentiated image, non-differentiated sign. When you practice Shamatha, you do not differentiate the qualities of the image, its hardness, softness, smoothness, roughness, heat, coolness, pushing, supporting. You don't analyze the nuances of its color. You don't analyze the nuances of the sound. You stay with the same image. The image of the past mind, you hold the same as the image of the present mind, and the image of the present mind you hold same as the image of the future mind. This is Shamatha. So, this object of Shamatha is called the image without differentiation. This differentiation also has a technical term, very difficult to translate into any other language. It is called vikalpa. So the Shamatha object is nirvikalpa, is without differentiation. But vikalpa does not only mean differentiation. It has many, many meanings. In Chinese, they translate differentiation, fen pie, you fen pie yin xiang, wu fen pie yin xiang. The object of Shamatha is wu fen pie yin xiang. Object of Vipassana is you fen pie yin xiang. Object of Shamatha is the image without differentiation. Object of Vipassana is image with differentiation. Now, Asanga uses for this image nimitta, a special verb. And this is also very important for your meditation on the blue color or the tantric meditations you're going to learn. He uses the word pratibimba, which Chinese translate as yin xiang. Yin xiang. Bimba means image. Pratibimba means reflected image. So, in fact, what we see in meditation is the reflected image of the mind. That is why the first stage of shamatha is called dwelling inside. Dwelling inside means seeing the reflected image of the mind. We can see the reflected image on the mind only when we turn the attention inside. If we turn the attention outside, we will never see the reflected image of the mind. That is why the wise Xianzang translates Neiju, dwelling inside. We go into meditation by dwelling inside. If you don't dwell inside, what reflected image can you see? And when you see a reflected image, you can be sure that this image comes from the mind. It does not come from outside. So you can't go wrong. When you see it very clearly, your mind will be able to stabilize. If you don't see it very clearly, your mind will not stabilize. Now, according to the teachings of masters of Mahayana, all objects of meditation are necessarily clear objects. There is no object of meditation which is not clear. So the job of the meditator is to make the differentiated or non-differentiated image very clear. But he will first have to make the non-differentiated image clear, then he can differentiate. If the non-differentiated image is not clear, what will you differentiate? Only our own distorted ideas. So the Buddhism emphasizes only the mind in samadhi can see things as they really are. Samahitam chitam yatha bhutam pashyati. So we make the mental image stable by practicing shamatha. But the Mahayana teachers, as opposed to Theravada, they allow, as we will learn later, you can make the image stable also by, according to your need, using the differentiated image. The shamatha supports vipassana, vipassana supports shamatha. The Southern Buddhism tends to divide the two very, very clearly. Shamatha is not vipassana, vipassana is not shamatha. Shamatha is only the base, but it is not wisdom. And it is by wisdom, all Buddhists especially emphasize, it is by wisdom that we become purified. All the other virtues we develop are only means of wisdom, but they are not wisdom. Only the wisdom can purify us. There is a very wonderful verse in the Dhammapada, which I like to remember and recite, which says, Saddena tarati ogham apamadena anavam viryena dukkham accheti panyaya visujati. What does it mean? By faith, we traverse the flood. What is flood? The samsara. In order to meditate, we need faith. Without faith, we cannot meditate. If in your book there is written that the cause of faith is desire, but actually the faith is the cause of desire. Normally we always explain like this. In order to meditate, you need faith. When you have faith, you have a active desire. Then apamadena anavam. Arnava means ocean. By apamada is another word for mindfulness. It literally means non-negligence. Non-negligence is mindfulness. So by mindfulness we cross the ocean. What is the ocean? Again, the samsara. If we don't have mindfulness, we cannot differentiate what is wholesome, what is unwholesome. So how can we cross the ocean? First, we have to differentiate between wholesome and unwholesome. Then we can cross the ocean. Viryena dukkham accheti. By effort, one will cross over suffering. Without effort, no one has ever go beyond suffering. And finally, panyaya visujati. By wisdom we become pure. But wisdom has no function unless we have faith, we have mindfulness, we have effort. When we have these three, we have concentration. Without these three, we have no concentration, no one-pointedness. When we have one-pointedness, the object becomes clear. When the object becomes clear, we can start analyzing it as it really is. In the Visuddhimagga you have a wonderful story. I will end up with this story. The three friends, they go to a festival to worship the Saraswati, the goddess of wisdom. And they come to a beautiful tree with wonderful flowers, champaka tree. Very nice smell, champaka. I don't know how they call it in English. Champaka is a very, very nice smell. In Taiwan, in China, they always sell on the crossroads. They put on the string, and the drivers, they hang in the car, so the whole car becomes a very nice, fragrant. It's not jasmine. Jasmine is small, that is a big one. Oh, me too. I don't know how they. Yes, champaka. Yulanhua in Chinese. Champaka in Sanskrit, I don't know in English, but anyway, you have to believe it smells so nice. So they want to pluck these champaka flowers, but the flowers are very high. So what to do? They jump and jump and jump, but still cannot catch. So one of them has a wonderful idea. I lower my back, you step on my back, and you pluck the flowers. Okay, that's a good idea. So he lowers the back, he steps on his back, and he wants to pluck the flowers, but the back is not stable, he falls down. What to do? The other friend comes, you hold my shoulder with your one hand, then you can reach, you will be stable. So they do like that, they pluck the flowers and happily they worship the goddess of wisdom. So these three friends are your faith, mindfulness and effort. So they become stable and they can pluck these very, very fragrant flowers to worship wisdom. So we end with a story. We do 15 minutes or 20 minutes of concentration. So you choose whatever object you like and stabilize your mind inside on the image of that object. If you're using the blue flower, then you first look at the blue flower outside, stabilizing your sight in the middle of the blue flower. Then try to see that image in your mind. In order to make it stable, while seeing that image, you can repeat like mantra, blue, 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 or if you like Sanskrit, nila, nila, nila. If you like Tibetan, blue is mumbo, 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 mumbo. Nila, 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 blue, blue, blue. Asura, asura, asura. No? Okay. 愿此功德普及一切我等一众生，皆共成佛道。May the merits we have gained spread to all beings, so that myself and them together attain the Buddhahood. Thank you.